It's no secret that I'm not the best at talking to strangers. I mean, in high school, I remember whenever I had to present for a class, I would always get so nervous, so I could never hold the poster. One time in my Spanish class, I think maybe my English class, I was holding a poster with my partner in presentation, and I just couldn't hold the poster still, so I was just shaking the poster while my partner on the other side was trying to hold the poster still. So that was an awkward experience and quite embarrassing. In my first quarter at community college, I sat next to the same person for the entire quarter, and I couldn't even muster up the words to say hi to them, and so it was an entire quarter of like being confined to my own 2-foot space and just really being embarrassed and too shy to say hi. And that even continued on until my first year of college, where even after spending years in high school debate team and debating in front of crowds and people, I still had that same like internal fear of communicating to people that I didn't know when it was not in a professional setting and more of a social setting. And so it's really a testament to the fact that no matter how much you practice, it's still going to be there to a certain degree. And so it's a way of managing that. And I've learned through college that there's a lot of things that you can actually do to put yourself ahead of the game when it comes to just talking to people and being more natural in conversation. And a lot of this has to do with realizing that authenticity is king. And so that's kind of what this video is centered around, but moreover, it's just how to survive college as an introvert. It's kind of something that you wouldn't really think that you need going into college. I mean, you might want to think about like books and how you're gonna get good grades and whatever, but there's a whole side of YouTube for that. So yeah, an introvert's guide to college. My first tip, hack advice, whatever have you, is very basic, and it's how to start a conversation. And to people that aren't introverted or aren't shy, I mean, there's a whole argument as to how like these things are different things, but to me, social anxiety, introversion, and being shy kind of intersect at the same point. And when it comes to conversation, that's where they really shine. And for me, I remember a lot of times not being able to start a conversation because I just didn't know what to say. And a lot of it is overthinking. But I've come to learn this power phrase that I just say, which is so intuitive and so simple that you would be like, well, yeah, that's a pretty easy answer to me. But it actually works 100% of the time. And it's just by starting the conversation by saying, hey, how are you doing? And 9 times out of 10, when I say, hey, how are you doing to someone, they respond and they're receptive and they're a lot more warm than if I were like, hi, my name is Timmy, what is your name? And then you have to go through like the formalities. Just starting in the middle and asking them how their day is going and being genuinely interested in how that person is doing. Because, we're all people just trying to survive college, and we're all having hard classes and difficulties and grades and things like that. So just building that genuine human connection at first is the fundamental step to getting to know new people. And so just defaulting on, hey, how are you doing? Whenever you reach that inevitable situation, you're sitting in a lecture hall of 500 people, or I guess nowadays you get put into a Zoom breakout room with people that don't have their cameras on. I just unmute my mic and I say, hey, how are you doing? And it always gets a response. So don't be afraid about that. Put yourself out there, be vulnerable first, because other people are receptive to that and they will also be vulnerable with you. And that's how you can build genuine connection, is by opening up that conversation and then finding the first point of connection or the first point where you are related to them. That's how all of my best relationships have been built, is putting myself out there first. So yeah, that's just a tip on how to start a conversation, kind of intuitive, but I guess we should move on to the second one, but let me switch up my location. I know my videos are kind of like all in the same place, so I will go over to my bed, I guess, a little bit more intimate. Let me move my mug. Yes. Okay. Are you stable? Cool. My second sort of advice, tip, hack, whatever have you, is on not building a facade when you go into college. It's really easy to think, oh, you go into college and it's a clean slate, so everything is so simple and you could be whoever you want to be. You could be the character from, the new Netflix rom-com or the latest Korean drama, anything, and you could be the superhero. And while that's all fun and dandy, it doesn't really last a while. Take it from me, I entered my freshman year thinking I could do whatever I wanted, didn't know anybody in any of my classes. So I was very stoic, very emotionless, and very robotic in that I wanted to be Mr. Cool Guy, and I wanted to present myself as somebody who knew what they were doing and didn't need to talk less. I think it was President Teddy Roosevelt, talk small but carry a big stick, something along those lines. That's kind of who I wanted to be, the embodiment of that. Of course, not related to war, but related to my personal experiences. And so that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be, you know, somebody who just got shit done and just lived my best life, I guess, and didn't have to worry about what other people thought. The problem was that actually wasn't who I was, and that wasn't how I actually felt, and I ended up building up a lot of walls, which made that character a lot stronger because it was harder to communicate to people after building that repertoire of, oh, I'm not going to talk to you unless I need to. People are less receptive. So don't build up that facade if you don't have to, because you really find power and you find the best relationships, at least in my experience, from when you are being yourself. And it's hard to be yourself if you don't know who you are, but that's what college is about. It's about extending yourself and seeing what you're really made of, I guess. So yeah, that's a lot of fluff of just saying be authentic and don't try to be somebody that you're not, because it will show and you will not believe in who you actually are. With that said, you're definitely going to change throughout your years in college, so don't be afraid of trying new experiences and joining new RSOs or new student organizations. That's what I did. I went into my freshman year and I joined the Vietnamese Student Association. I also joined a bunch of other associations that never went anywhere because I got so caught up in one club, which honestly was a little bit of a regret of mine, but I got to meet a lot of cool people and do some great work in that one and in that organization, and ended up finding one of my biggest passions now, which is in media. I think my camera is tilted. Let me actually untilt y'all. Okay, are you better? Are you good? Okay, I'm sorry for all my frames. My room is kind of just a small like square. Anyways, where was I? Yes, join a student organization that you have any remote connection to, because you want to figure out if that's something that you want to take on as a real hobby, if you want to further your advancement or interest in that. Or there's a lot of clubs for identity. College is a great opportunity to learn more about who you identify as and the power in your identity. And I've been talking a lot about authenticity, so joining a club like that can really help you become your most authentic self. And that of course brings me back to my last topic of surviving college as an introvert, which is really take as many breaks socially as you'd like to. You're going to be held up with academics anyways, so there's really no need to talk to people all the time or go to a student organization meeting every single night. Just take a second step back and work for your classes for a day, a week, however long you need until you feel refreshed to, or at least ready to have another conversation with somebody or meet someone new. It is taxing and it is tiring. I don't know why. I don't know the science behind it, but for me, if I'm in a social setting for like hours and hours on end, I'll enjoy it after the first couple of hours, but then toward the end, I'll feel really drained and feel like I really want to go home. And I think that's okay. I think going home is good so that we can refresh and relax. Aside from that, if you're not tied up in academics, finding hobbies as an introvert is a lot of fun. I mean, I think naturally there's this tendency to also read a lot. I love reading. I mentioned that in my last video, is that I really do like reading because it's a way of just doing things in your own space and just taking your own time to explore a different world, and you learn a lot from books you read about. Also, I've taken up the guitar a little bit. I mean, I'm not very good. Maybe I'll show that in a different video, but it's a way for me to express myself in a different way. And lastly, of course, is this whole thing, which is in media and creating content that I wish I could have seen when I got into college, because I just really hope that I can be helpful in some sense to people that are very unsure and uncertain of what they want to do in college. It's kind of a scary experience for people like me who are on one hand not sure what they actually want to do in their life in terms of their career when they enter college, and on the other hand also scared of meeting new people and putting themselves out there. So hopefully this was helpful in any sense, and I've really come to love just being able to express myself in different ways. And this is kind of circular, but it goes back to the beginning point, which is you find the best people and you make the best relationships when you're authentic. So figure out the things that you love, and the right people will come to you. I think that's at least how the universe tries to make it. I mean, maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part, but I would hope that that's how the world works. And so yeah, if you have any questions on any of that, go ahead and leave a comment down below and I'll respond to it. I have very little to do right now besides my schoolwork because of quarantine, so I'm just making these videos and having a blast and playing guitar here and there. If you'd like to, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace.